We have the Masters of the Universe type story. Someone working in the public sector for the public, ostensibly.
Come to work every day and be just and strong in the actions you bring. And don't waver.
Going after a guy who ostensibly is there to make money out of the private sector for himself.
Yesterday, this company came under attack by an unscrupulous adversary who will stop at nothing to abuse the authority of the state, take away our freedoms, and close our doors forever.
Because it's a Showtime show, and because we like to deal with grays and not blacks and whites, you will see a great degree of ambiguity, and your preconceptions constantly challenged about who's good, who's bad, where does ambition take people, what are people prepared to do to get what they want.
Walk away.
I should. But then again, what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you?
My character is definitely the good character. There's no question about it. I play the good guy. But no, it's a tricky thing what these guys do.
I did it.
Being so morally driven can be intense.
How do you feel?
Like shit. What do you go and do to be okay with it after a thing like that?
He's not the most pleasant guy in the world, but he's doing the right thing.
You're the only one running the big money they cheer for. But that's because you worked that 9/11 shit for all it's worth.
Fuck yourself.
And the other guy is crooked and predatory, but he's not necessarily such a bad guy.
All three firms have links to Bobby Axelrod.
Bobby fucking Axelrod. Man of the people.
That makes for good drama.
The writers really wanted to create a contrast and an unexpected palette for Axe and for Chuck. So that Chuck's world is kind of woody and traditional and bureaucratic in a kind of messy way, a little more complex and a little more cluttered. Axe, they wanted to feel very light and ethereal. And they wanted it to kind of feel like he's risen above the clutter and the fray. And Chuck is still embedded in that.
Sounds reasonable.
He's duking it out in a way.
And it's the type of deal that has been made in this library countless times. By my predecessors. But not by me. You don't buy your way out of justice here.
So it's definitely an intentional contrast, because what develops over the 12 episodes is you kind of have to make your decision about who you think is the good guy.
That's what this is all about, guys. Not only how our firm survived 9/11, but how we didn't give up. How we committed to each other, to our family. And I am so moved by how we've all flourished together.
A lot of effort is put into making Axe a likable kind of character, even when he's being quite malevolent.
You know, being a billionaire, I never get to talk about this with anyone, because who's gonna give a shit? But being a billionaire, when you walk into a room, it's like being a woman with a perfect set of tits. Or great legs. Or eyes like yours. You know exactly what everyone's looking at. You know exactly what they want.
I think there's a good play on darkness and light with both of the characters, and I think what everyone's trying to do with these two guys is that you never know who you're rooting for. You never know where the good is coming from. You never know where the light is coming from. I think our decision to put Chuck in very dark colors ideally would make him a very dark and kind of ominous character. And Bobby Axelrod, his office is very light and his colors are very light. But then later on in the season, it changes a little bit.
What now? I don't know.
Bobby gets a little darker in the season. I feel like there's a nice play on that, kind of trying to figure out who's the light and who is the dark.
Going forward, you might want to consider vetting your information a little better.
In terms of locations, we want to get a distinct vibe between Bobby and Chuck. Bobby is a billionaire, and we wanted to represent that world, whereas Chuck is a city worker, albeit the U.S. attorney, and his world was a little more rough around the edges. For the series, Each character is kind of in a gray world, in both dark and light. You have Bobby Axelrod, who in his office is very open, very bright, but at the same time, he has his fixer named Hall, who he meets in boiler rooms, dark alleys, empty football fields. Chuck, on the other hand, is very open and a public figure, but he also has the dark world of the S&M and clubs that he goes to.
We wanted Chuck to feel a little bit restricted, and it also ties in with his S&M world, and so everything about Chuck is a little mysterious. To get to who he is, he's compartmentalized a little bit more. Bobby is a little more of an open book. He's got secrets too, but he's very upfront and out front.
You want to try him?
I can't do that. He's folksy.
So?
I've tried with folksy people. They find me to be a rapacious scumbag.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but I don't think it's just the folksy people.
How about you?
You're my rapacious scumbag.
This is what love is.
It just creates a really beautiful contrast. And quite honestly, you know, the show wouldn't be that interesting if you just hated Damian Lewis's character and loved Chuck's.
What the papers didn't say is that I kept trading after the South Tower was hit, too. In fact, that's when I stepped on the gas.
That really creates the dynamic of the show.
This is Axelrod in jail. Real jail time, too. This is criminal behavior that, if proven, takes away any middle ground between right and wrong and marks him wrong forever.
That cat and mouse aspect, I think, will be reversed many times. So who's the cat, who's the mouse?
Bobby Axelrod is Mike Tyson in his prime. And you do not want Mike Tyson in his prime.
This is a show with flawed heroes, stroke anti-heroes.
What have I done wrong? Really? Except make money. Succeed.
We will love and hate them in equal measure.
Oh, the myth is so fucking romantic. The rugged individual who won't back down to the unimaginative do-gooder authorities.
They're both primal and predatory, and they're super smart. And they have highly, sharply honed predatory instincts. So they're human hunters, human animals.
You know the only enemy more dangerous than a man with unlimited resources is one with nothing to lose.